So one of the things that I'm finding interesting, and you and I have had a lot of conversations. I want to have a very special shout out to people that are generally speaking under 40 and not to generalize. But I will say this. I was in my late 20s and through my early 30s. I went through the dot-com rise, went through the advent of social media, went through app development, went through SaaS development, through all these different digital iterations, as well as data and other technical advancements through smartphones, etc. And at that time, it seemed that people looked at young people as being the future of technology. What I'm finding interesting, and I'd like to kind of more publicly expand on some of our conversations, I'm finding the people that I talk to that really embrace AI tend to be 40 plus, and that same generation that are in their late 40s and 50s seem to be the super users of AI currently. And my worry is when I talk with young people, there's a hesitancy, and my worry is I use AI because I've got this strong foundation of 30 years of experience of strategic planning, of creative planning, of being able to understand what it is that I need to accomplish and how to use AI so I can get a 10 times, 20 times, 50 times impact. My concern, and I know you and I have talked about this, so I'd like to just kind of bring out is the people that tend to be just coming out of school who are being replaced by a lot of AI functions because AI really is an intern with a master's degree. So the 15 years that led to us gaining the experience to be able to utilize AI at a very high level is no longer there for a large number of people. So the combination of young people's hesitancy to use AI and the reality that they're going to have 10 to 15 years where normally what they would have been able to learn and experience through working and working with more senior people is no longer going to be as available. What would you say to those people right now? Because I know for me, I'm worried about my daughter's generation. And I'm worried much more so because they're young. And it's so different than when I was in my 20s.
I kind of go back to our previous conversation, which is start using AI. Like, there's no reason not to use it. Use it thoughtfully, use it consciously, use it ethically. Those are all strong considerations when using it, but use it. What I think we're going to see over the next few years with AI is a lot more focus on training and education, where AI can be a tutor, AI can be a mentor, where you're going to see right now AI being, to your point, a intern with a master's degree. They predict over the next few years it will more be a PhD or a doctorate or someone with 20 years experience, where you can ask that agent or that AI questions about scenario based outputs. So, hey, I'm running into this challenge, and it will, similar to where agents are now, start to ask you more questions, get a better sense for your current positioning, and then help you run through different scenarios and help educate you quickly. So I don't think there's a downside to getting into AI and using it. And I think there's an opportunity for AI to step into that middle role and help gradually increase the capability and experience for those users. But imagine now AI is a flight simulator for a marketer. All of a sudden, now I can test all sorts of scenarios with AI, see the possibilities of outputs. Again, massive advantages that a young person could do. Again, providing that capacity in those scenarios that maybe people aren't considering. So be thoughtful, be inventive, use it in new ways. But I honestly think if as long as you're using it, you stand a chance to continue to provide as much value as you can. I think a lot of what people are having trouble with the adoption of AI is two things. Number one, understanding their value proposition because it's changed. So now you're a person who can use an agent that may have wrote 80% of that paper for you. Okay, but were you the one that prompted it to get to that great paper? Were you the one who edited it? Were you the one who cross-checked the sources to make sure it was accurate? Okay, It was in collaboration with AI that you were able to produce that content. So I do think there's a lot of opportunity there to collaborate with AI, to learn from AI, to test a multitude of options that would no longer be available or would take time to build focus groups and scenarios, will all happen in an instance when it comes to AI. So I do think there's a lot of potential there, but frankly, you're right. There's also a lot of risk. That gap is going to continue to increase between the people who have the experience, and as long as they're adopting, they stand a good chance to have a long career, or at least a formidable career. But I think when it comes to the younger generation, and I've got three daughters, and this crosses my mind all the time, is okay, let's get them using AI. Let's get them on that platform. And again, using it smart, using it ethically, use it like a calculator to test, use it to challenge, using it to teach and tutor to some degree are all really good use cases because it's still going to provide value to them as they move forward.
I think one of the things that I really like about the teach and tutor part is, for me, growing up in a career where I would often have amazing mentors and actual training programs, I think a lot of AI is actually providing not just the opportunity for mentorship and coaching and learning, but it's almost as though you have a perpetual educational institution with the best mentors in addition to coaches who can literally guide you through week to week to week, month to month, year over year. So perhaps that's one of the ways that I think a lot of young people can start to adapt how AI is used is by really looking at this as a full extension of advancement in learning across the board so that perhaps they don't need to take 20 or 30 years to get to the point that you and I took, and they can maybe accomplish that in 10 or 15.
I honestly think they'll get there to down to five. To be honest, I think the exponential growth of experience will be faster. The reassurance that will come from AI doing scenario-based learning and troubleshooting with you, I think you're going to see the quality increase dramatically. But to your point with the tutoring, I mean, I have a daughter who's in grade 11 physics, and she's surpassed my knowledge base. But we were taking pictures of her homework, and again, she did the work, but we used AI to validate it. Or if there's a question in our homework she doesn't understand, we take a picture of it and we say, break this down. It may have the answer, but we're very conscious to say, well, let's not jump to the answer. How did you get there? Are there other ways to get there? Are there other methods you could have used? So realizing that they now have access to an expert in physics or math or chemistry available to them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help learn from, to ask any amount of questions to. You can never ask a dumb question when it comes to AI, and that's great. Um, I think it's going to be a real winning opportunity for the ones who start to jump in. I mean, we always tell our kids, again, you had Google growing up, whereas we had to look through library cards and find books and find references where they could just search. This is a 100 time factor to that. But again, use it smart, use it ethically, use it thoughtfully, and I see a lot of good potential from it.
Well, we're going to be posting this online, so we would love to hear comments from everybody who's watching this in terms of what are your thoughts in terms of AI? What are your thoughts in terms of adoption, whether you're 20, 30, 50, or 80? And also, what are some of your concerns? I think the more that we have a conversation, the quicker that we're going to be able to understand basically all aspects of AI, the good, the bad, the ugly, and learn from that in a way that's going to actually empower a future that we can all be proud of.